They should be detained or they should be tagged. Now, when I say they should be tagged on my own show, people were saying, oh, this is absolutely outrageous. Why is it outrageous to police the border? I mean, we're very concerned about Ukraine's borders, quite rightly. We don't seem to be that concerned about our own. There's an ongoing case about a guy who's alleged to have sexually assaulted a young girl.
Yes,
so that's ongoing.
It's a real case.
Well, it's a real case, right?
It's absolutely a real case. But then you have Zia Youssef on the radio this morning talking about how Afghans are 20 times more likely to sexually assault people than white British people. You know, they are.
This woman encapsulates everything wrong with the liberal establishment in Britain. Why can't we stop the boats? Well, because it goes against our liberal British values of compassion for refugees. Because it goes against our international obligations. As if being a global migrant camp is what defines us as a nation. It's ridiculous. Then, like her opponent says, so just let them all pile in. No limit on numbers, just take in the world. And predictably, she replies, no, I didn't mean that. Okay, what did you mean? How many should we let in? And again, predictably, she has no answer. She accused Zia Youssef of stoking up hate for saying Afghan asylum seekers are 20 times more likely to attack women. In other words, even if it is true, we should just brush it under the carpet. Just keep importing them, and if some girls get attacked, it's no big deal because we already have women here suffering from domestic abuse at the hands of British men. That's the level of argument from these people. All these liberal commentators keep saying is, we can't send these women back to Afghanistan because of their safety. That's all they ever talk about. Yet, those very same people think it's okay to import all those Afghan men here and totally disregard the potential risk they may pose to British women's safety. Show concern for British women's safety and you're a racist. And these people wonder why Reform are doing so well. Take a watch.
And since when did it become really conceptually, it feels conceptually odd to me that we would allow our border to just be porous, where people come in, they apply for asylum, and 17,000 people in this country who are in the middle of their asylum applications are wandering around the streets and disappeared. It disappeared. I mean, they should be detained or they should be tagged. Now, when I say they should be tagged on my own show, people were saying, oh, this is absolutely outrageous. Why is it outrageous to police the border? I mean, we're very concerned about Ukraine's borders, quite rightly. We don't seem to be that concerned about our own. So I think people might think that this is radical. They might even think it's outrageous. It's a necessary intervention because nothing so far has worked. And he is saying it's time to get tough. And those who moan about Trump has delivered on the Mexican border.
Well, the Mexican borders as well. And the top 5 countries, when we look at the small boats crossings, they are Sudan, Eritrea, Iran, Syria and Afghanistan. We don't have arrangements with those governments. We don't have those kinds of dialogues. When we do, like we had with Albania, there are things that work. We were able to stop the flow of Albanians into this country by having a proper dialogue. And I do think, I mean, yes, the numbers are not good, 50,000 in a calendar year. And the promise to smash the gangs have not been smashed. But we have to give the Labour government in their defence a little bit longer to use diplomacy and use those
It's not working,
tactics.
Jenny.
Well, it's not working right now, but hopefully
the French government might fall on the 8th of September, right? Highly likely that it's going to fall. This one-in, one-out nightclub bouncer policy that has been suggested and is being implemented by this government is going to do nothing to actually reduce the numbers, which are going up. It's 45,000 in the year to June, 10,000 higher than last year. The present system is not working. Farage might be coming out with radical stuff that people find unpalatable. It's time to get radical.
Can I just take a look at 2 front pages that I think kind of highlight, and unsurprisingly, the divide over this issue? If you can pull up the Daily Mail first of all. And of course, they lead with the Farage speech saying, finally, a politician who gets it. And then the Mirror echoing a very different point of view. The Mirror there, Britain is better than this. If we can pull up the front page of the Mirror, there it is. I mean, it's obviously a divisive issue, but it seems that the main parties, the Conservatives, Labour and Reform UK, all agree on the issue of illegal, or let's call it irregular immigration as well. And Nigel Farage seems to be, Jenny, the one that is putting forward a policy so far?
Well, I mean, I think most people would agree, most people in this country would agree that it is not right that the people are coming into this country through channels that are not legal, that can't be policed, that they can't be vetted. So coming in not through our borders, not through our border controls. I don't think there are many people who would say, that's great, I'm happy with that. And it definitely has to be tackled. The question is, how far are we prepared to go to stop it? Are we prepared to risk what makes us the law-abiding country that we are, a country who was involved in the creation of so many of these human rights laws and conventions? You know, Winston Churchill, the great hero, would be spinning in his grave at the idea that we're prepared to give up so much in this. And I say this again, Nigel Farage, in his rhetoric today, he was talking about rising anger, a risk of law and disorder as a consequence of this rising anger from these men of fighting age who are coming in. He is stoking all of this. And what he's saying here, it may never come to pass, but he is able to pull the centre so far to the right that even the Labour Party are entertaining these ideas.
But he wasn't stoking Epping. He wasn't stoking Epping. I mean, there's an ongoing case about a guy who's alleged to have sexually assaulted a young girl.
Yes,
so that's ongoing.
It's a real case.
Right, it's a real case. Right?
It's absolutely a real case. But then you have Zia Youssef on the radio this morning talking about how Afghans are 20 times more likely to sexually assault people than white British people. You know, they are stoking this. And that particular case is based on a real legal case. But whenever there is this disorder, you do get the sense, and you had this in Stockport, that Farage is rubbing his hands together.
Ali, 20 seconds.
Look, I think we need to get radical. I think the time for messing around is over. And I think that the UN 1951 Refugee Convention has just become basically a smuggler's charter.